Well, hello. Happy Sunday. How you guys doing? It's raining. It's been raining for a couple days. Totally screwed up my weekend, but like yesterday was really funny because I went for I went for a walk in the woods with my dogs, and then it started thunderstorming. So I was like, all right, well, the lightning strikes are really close, so I'm gonna turn around. And then I turned around, and as I was walking back, it began to downpour, and I got hailed on. So it was lightning, thunder, downpouring rain, and hail, and it hurt. Just so you know, that really hurts. Anyway, you guys will probably notice I have some unexpected characters. Like I have a Yai now. That was not planned. I got my Star Glitter summons, and then she was like, "Oh, hi." So I have her now. And now she's built. Yep. So that happened. Every time you guys ask for a face reveal, I'm gonna delay it by like a year. Just so you know. At this point, there's so many people who've asked, it's like 10 years out, so I guess it doesn't really matter, but, you know. Is my bitrate kind of low? I mean, yeah. The reality is I don't have the best internet, but hold up. This might help. I have kind of poor internet. Kind of poor. And by kind of poor, I mean like really poor. It's the problem with, oh, actually, this is not supposed to be at 19. Well, that's probably part of it. Oh no, the thing updated and now it's screwed up all my stuff. All my settings are wrong. Well, that's part of my problem. Okay. I might have to stop and come back to fix a couple of things. Hold on. Is this better? Like, is this serviceable? Or should I stop and change a couple more things? So I just updated OBS, and then I think it just decided to wipe all of my settings.
Right here. Right now.
Okay, is this is better, then we'll stick with this. You guys like, I'll just sit here. I can't help but feel like a wizard, or the fairy godmother from Cinderella. Whenever I'm on field with Miko, it's so bad. It's bad. Do you think we can watch some of the Genshin movie with Kat? No, I think you guys can watch that on your own time. It's good though. I mean, if you guys are wanting a I just realized I already got these. They have not respawned yet. Okay. Well, I guess we're just gonna chase fungi then. It's good. It's a nice recap. I'm not really interested in watching it right now. I'm not. It's really good. It's definitely worth watching, especially if it's been a while since you've gone through earlier stuff. I go through old cutscenes all the time, so I don't really need a recap, so I'm probably not gonna watch it on stream anyway. I know, Wanderer's not in my team. It's weird. It feels weird. But it's because all 4 of these characters are new, and so I'm friendship farming. And that's why. Although Miko makes my life difficult right now because I'm farming for fungi. But I need like the non fusion spore things, and she screws that up. She gives me the fusion spore thing. What do they call those? The activated fungi. Those. Yeah, that one. The ones where they go solid. So I can't use her versus them. Where are these things? Oh, there they are. There they are. Hi. And then, of course, they're all dendro. Which doesn't really make the damage all that great. Whoops. See? At this point, it's just better to go Beyblade. Beyblade! And don't hit anything. Yep. Just don't hit anything. Yep. Sonnet, do you think Istaroth is on the Conria's side? Because if yes, I have a theory about why is Istaroth forgotten in Mondstadt. I don't think there are sides. Like, I don't think like there's sides to the shades necessarily. I kind of feel like even if there were, I don't know that they'd pick a Conrian side over the Tevat side. I think the question of sides is more of, are you on the side of dragons? Are you on the side of gods? Or are you on the side of humans? And I guess if you think of Conria as like the epitome of humanity, then maybe she'd be on their side. But I would say that by and large, the Heavenly Principles is on the side of humanity. It's probably just not like... How to explain? Conria seems to be the source of humans, which is an interesting thing to think about. And the Heavenly Principles really loves humans. So I think it stands to reason that they would want to support them as much as they can. But I also think they think that some of the stuff that Conria does is working against the best interest of humanity. I just saw someone say no leaks. Wait, who leaked? Did I miss it? I didn't see it. That's okay. Oh, no, Miko, why? Oh, I screwed it. Okay. I picked the wrong thing. Dang it. Aw, man. Now he's activated. I mean, I'll take it anyway, but I don't need it. How come everyone needs unactivated fungi? Who even needs the activated ones? Who needs them? What do we firmly know about the Heavenly Principles stand? The only thing we know, like 100% for sure, comes from Apep, because she said that humans were beloved of the Heavenly Principles. And if you go with the idea that, you know, like the whole primordial one thing, right? If you go with that, oh hey, look, I got some. If you go with that, I mean, the primordial one should be the Heavenly Principles and should be, or at least like one of the Heavenly Principles. And they should be the ones who created humans in their current state and all that. So like, it makes sense that they would, you know, appreciate humans. But being loved by someone doesn't necessarily mean that you're free, right? Like, it could be one of those things where the Heavenly Principles loves humans, but like wants to protect them from themselves. So they kind of like imprison them, and they kind of give them the illusion of free will without actually giving them free will. So it's like there's a lot of things that could happen there. So I think it's going to be kind of relative. I think it'll be kind of relative. Oh, you know why this thing's being funny? That's better. Sorry, I had this on the wrong setting. That's better. Okay, I wanted to ask this a long time ago. Why is a pep a she? Well, because she's using a female voice. Whether or not that actually makes the dragon a she or a they, I don't know. I mean, there's nothing to say that dragons can't... Well, that's not true either. Actually, the weird thing is, like, in Chinese mythology, I believe... I have to double check this. I believe that dragons aren't ever female. And if they're not ever female, like, I guess it kind of makes it weird if there's, like, a female dragon in a Chinese game. But, like, at the same time, it's also a fantasy thing, so hey, whatever. Like, I don't think it matters too much what the gender is, really. Ow. Why would you hit me? I know I just killed your brethren, but why would you hit me? That's so rude. Ash, have you seen the theory that Rhine Daughter is a title that was passed down? I don't remember the full theory, but what do you think? I mean... I don't necessarily think that Rhine Daughter is a title that gets passed down. I think it's more likely that gold is a title that gets passed down. But I haven't seen the theory that you're talking about. So my mind could be changed. You know. I gotta say, I've been playing a lot of Tears of the Kingdom lately, and the controls are kind of inverted from Genshin. And I've mostly been playing Genshin on my phone. Except for, like, the event when I had to, you know, do my recording. I can't really do that on my phone. And then obviously I don't do the Abyss on my phone because I would die. And this Abyss is hard. Unless you're a whale. It might actually even be hard if you're a whale. But yeah, so like my controls are all screwy. I keep like pressing... I don't know if you guys know this, but like, oh jeez, okay. Now I'm stuck. Okay, never mind. We just won't go that way. Like in Zelda, you press the X button to jump. And that's like the top button on the controller on the right-hand side. But the problem is I'm using like an Xbox controller for Genshin. And so X and Y are switched. And so are A and B. And so when I go back to the Switch controller, it says, oh, press X to jump. And I'm like, okay, press X. But then I press the button to the left because that's what it is on the Xbox controller, but it's not what it is on the Switch controller. It's really bad. I have died an unnecessary number of times in both games because I keep screwing up my controls. It's kind of bad. Anyway. That might be something I do. What we're gonna see. Oh dear. Hi. I guess we'll. Yeah. Go away! Leave me alone! I'm also still learning how to use half these characters. Although it was my intention to try and clear this Abyss with Kaveh this time, and then I got in there and realized that wasn't gonna happen. That wasn't gonna happen. Not this round. Not this round. Kang, thank you for the super chat. Hello to you as well. If Conrians have dragon origins due to their eyes, wouldn't that contradict their whole point of being the pride of humankind? Dragons, e.g. a pep, hate humanity and gods after all. Yes and no and no and yes. So how do part of me wants to go, just give me a week to finish this theory and I'll explain it. And then the other half of me wants to like kind of just explain a little bit. How do I put this? Okay, the best way I can explain this without having to go into like this whole like 40-minute theory discussion that's literally going to be in a video that's hopefully coming out this week, is to say that there are a lot of very odd similarities between Irminsul and dragons and how both of them function and behave. And because of that, it's realistic to assume that the connection between dragons and humans is actually a lot more tenuous than most people think. How's that? Does that kind of answer the question? Because like Irminsul is actually really weird. Like the more you look at Irminsul, the weirder it gets. And I'm kind of at the point now where I think it's extremely odd that, all things considered, inside of that story quest, Apep says nothing about Irminsul and also seems to imply that, you know, Nahida, who's the avatar of Irminsul, right, is kind of like detestable, or at least to her. But if Nahida is the avatar of Irminsul, and Irminsul and dragons have a lot in common, it's just, it makes you wonder if humans are like a form of evolution of dragon, or if humans evolved into dragons at one point, or if they're interchangeable in some way, right? I don't know how else to explain this without bringing out like my spreadsheets. So I'm probably just gonna have to stick with that for right now. There's a lot of really weird similarities. That's all I'm really gonna say. Cheesy, can I tell you some interesting Honkai Impact lore? I can tell you a lot of interesting Honkai Impact lore, but you're gonna have to be more specific than that. The thing is talking about Honkai Impact lore, it kind of requires context for a lot of it. And the context takes all the time, because like, you can say a lot of really interesting things about the Honkai world, but it requires so much context, both within the game and like in real life. Right now, I think the most interesting piece of Honkai lore that I've kind of come to realize is how it deals with philosophical concepts, and how tightly those philosophical concepts are actually woven into the plot and a lot of the mechanics of the game. So if you look at conflicting views of like the perception of reality and how reality is constructed, i.e. Aristotle and Plato, you start to draw a lot of comparisons between between their thought processes and the way that they define reality and things like finality in Honkai. And finality is fascinating because, without like going into a lot of technical stuff, and this is grossly oversimplifying, I hope you guys know, but just gonna sit here and detonate. There we go. But like TLDR, in Honkai, finality is kind of like this ultimate, I don't really want to call it a challenge, but it's kind of like an ultimate challenge for humanity. It's trying to force humanity to evolve in certain ways, and it kind of wants to get involved with humans in some way. But it can't because it exists on an entirely different plane of existence, so it kind of creates these little avatars that can interact with it. But because it's not human, it doesn't really understand humans. It operates with very different levels of logic. So it plays with this idea of like a cosmic observer. And like having a final definition for what reality is and what the purpose of reality is and stuff like that. So I think that's probably my most interesting piece of Honkai lore, is how deep I had to go into philosophy to actually understand why they went with the concept of finality for the whole thing. I thought that was the more interesting thing. Can I give you beginner Honkai Impact lore? Honestly, no. I can't. I highly recommend you check out a channel called Homu Labs, Homu Labs, if you want like beginners Honkai lore or even any Honkai lore, just because like he does a really good job of summarizing some pretty difficult concepts. So I think he's really worth checking out if you want like the beginner sort of thing. But the thing is Honkai is this really complex thing because it's been retconned so many times. So it ends up... Ah! Why are they going off the cliff? It's been retconned a lot, and it's kind of difficult to separate things like the world mechanics from the character stories, right? Like, I could summarize like some of the world mechanics pretty easily, but it's kind of difficult for me to... Oh, this is gonna be interesting.
Right here. Emerge.
We'll just sit here and wait for him to die, I guess. Just because Honkai is way more, it's way more character-driven than Genshin is, which sounds weird because there's way more characters in Genshin. But, like, it's because they have a very small cast that, they tend to be driven a lot more by characters. So then the question becomes, well, do you want character lore or do you want, like, world mechanics lore? And then it gets really complicated. Because, like, the original version of this story is, like, years and years and years and years and years old. It's very old, and every time they start a new game, they kind of reboot the whole concept. So, like, there's Gun Girl Z or Hokai Impact, which is, like, a game that's still ongoing and has the same characters and everything, but... the plot ends up being really different. Finality ends up being different. Like, everything ends up being really different. And then you have Honkai Impact 3rd, which has multiple sort of iterations. And then you have Honkai Star Rail, which is like a continuation, but also in an alternate universe. And then you have Genshin, and who knows what they're actually doing with this. Sorry, I'm rambling. I have a lot of opinions on Honkai. I don't know if you guys can tell. Anyway, long story short, it's really complicated. I don't recommend it unless you're really dedicated. I won't say that a lot of it's all that impactful unless you want to, like, understand some Easter eggy sorts of stuff, or unless you kind of want to understand, like, how Hoyo constructs stories. If you want to understand how they construct stories, then yeah, sure, go for it. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted. Is there a place I don't want the lore or the story to go? Not really. I'm pretty open to most possibilities here. Like, I don't really think it's my place to say, like, I don't want the story to go here or there or whatever. I kind of feel like it'll be a bit of a cop out if they go like, oh, everything was all a dream. I feel like it'll be very difficult for them to pull something off like that. Like I don't really like that trope in general. I think simulation tropes are also really difficult to pull off unless they can kind of like add a really unique twist to it. So I guess so long as they don't go incredibly generic with like the penultimate like conclusion of the story, I don't really care. I saw some things and I'm sorry. Hold up. I got behind again because I got distracted. What else is new? Janice, thanks for the super chat. Do you think Alice is a decent parent? Yes, I do. Here's two reasons why. One, Klee is happy. That's how you can tell if you have a pretty good parent right off the bat. Is your kid happy? Because like people need very different levels of care and attention, right? Klee is very independent. Also, we have no idea how old Klee is. Like, yeah, she looks like she's 9, but she's from an incredibly long-lived race. So for all we know, she could be like 50 years old. And in which case, even though she's kind of childish, she probably has a lot more, how to put this, like, a lot more independence than most 9-year-olds, right? Also, Alice comes back and checks on Klee all the time. Klee's mostly with her big brother, Albedo. Kaya takes really good care of her. I mean, all in all, there's that. But like, I think she's a pretty good mother. But the other thing is one thing that parents don't do a whole lot of these days is give their kids agency. A lot of parents get really worried about like the state of the world and everything, and they're like, well, I need to protect my child from X, Y, or Z. But sometimes it's just better to let your kids screw up and learn themselves than it is for you to like constantly protect them. And Klee is kind of the epitome of I'm screwing up all the time, but I'm always learning, and everyone's being very nice when they teach me new things, and mom gives me that freedom to experiment and learn for myself, so, you know, all is well. So that's kind of why I think Alice is actually a pretty good parent overall. Is she a little absent? Yeah, but I mean, that's not uncommon. As long as the kid is happy and not feeling neglected, I think it's good. Sorry, let me catch up here real quick. Nightmare, thanks for the super chat. I feel like what the Primordial One did to Tevat was turn endless elemental energy, imaginary energy, into a set reality, i.e. fate and Irminsul, which is why dragons hate it. It is possible. Yeah. What's curious to me, though, is that humans aren't elemental beings, right? But Irminsul is full of elemental energy and memory. So, like, whatever Irminsul is doing, it's doing something that either converts elemental energy into something else, or it's kind of like bypassing a natural system that dragons already had in place. So something like that is going on, which makes Irminsul similar to dragons, but also kind of removed from them. And I think that's kind of one of the nuances. And also why I think this game is run by aliens. Not run by aliens. I mean, like, I think the Primordial One is an alien, kind of, but also native to the thing. I think the Primordial One might have been from an original civilization that came before dragons, that moved to the moon and went into like cryostasis for a while. And then when they came back, they're like, oh shit, this world's run by dragons now. We can't have that. And so then they were like, well, let's clear the world of dragons and like repopulate the world with humans like it's supposed to be. And dragons were like, no. So they end up being like native, but also not native because they were on the moon for so long. Aliens! When I do that theory, the thumbnail is going to be Yenfei in that position of that one dude from the History Channel that just goes, aliens, you know, like from the Ancient Aliens series, like that. That's gonna be the thumbnail. I've already decided. It's gonna be great. Anyway. I got distracted again. Spencer Dario, thanks for the super chat. With Fontaine partially drawing from Celtic mythos, i.e. the Loch folk, could Fontaine's dragon potentially be based off of Nessie? That would be awesome! I think it's either Nessie or like a Leviathan type thing, yeah. For sure. Nessie would be really interesting. That's Scottish though, isn't it? Well, yeah, I guess that's... I mean, I guess it applies. The thing is like, the more we hear about Fontaine, the more I dig into it, the more I realize they're not just looking at like the Celts. They're looking at a lot of Frankish, Gaelic, Celtic kind of, even potentially Norse and some more Vikingish. You know what's really weird? I didn't have Twiggy and I haven't been using him until recently, and I've just realized that when he does his charge shot thing, right? You see those little fairies that show up behind him? They look just like the oh god, I'm gonna butcher it. The caverna, those things. They look just like them. It's weird. But you know what else is really cool? Twiggy is like the he's from the Tignarians, right? And the Tignarians were a beloved race of the goddess of flowers. So I'm sitting here like, what the hell? Just a random observation here. Here, I'll show. Look, you see him? You see him? They're little green fairies. They look just like the caverna. And the flower that he has looks just like Sorush's little flower power thingy. Coincidence? I think not. Anyway, I think it was said that like Tule was born of the goddess of flowers' tears or something like that. So like that would make sense. But that would also make his entire race like descended from her, which I think is very interesting in context. But I have it's only something I've noticed recently, like yesterday, so I haven't. Yeah. Ryan, thanks for the super. I haven't seen you in forever. Good lord. Have I been that absent? I've been that absent. Oh my goodness. Big fan. One thing you're hoping for with Fontaine: region aesthetic, new mechanic, lore aesthetic. I want underwater exploration. I want underwater exploration. I know a lot of people are like not wanting this because I've heard a lot of people say that they're afraid of deep water and stuff like that, and that's totally valid. But I want underwater exploration. I think it would be really cool if you could like, you know how like in Zelda Tears of the Kingdom you can ascend through things? I think it would be really cool if in Genshin they gave you the ability to descend into water. Like maybe there were certain areas where you'd have like this little spot and then you could like noom downwards all the way down to the bottom, and then you'd enter like a bubble of sorts, like a little Atlantis-y bubble where you know, where you could walk around normally and fight normally and everything. So it's not like super underwater, but you're still actually underwater. So like there's lots of, you could start going around the map, all of Teyvat, and being like, oh, look at all this deep water. And you could like go in there and go underwater and like look at all these old ruins. I really like underwater exploration, okay? Subnautica was really bad for me. And by that I mean it's a really good game. I just like, it ruined me for underwater exploration. I want so much more. Anyway, thank you. That's the one thing I'm looking forward to. And also, I also think it's time we got something like a mount. It'd be kind of cool if we could build like a little, this is again another Tears of the Kingdom thing, but like not a super customizable one, but it would be neat if we could like create like a little go-kart, like a little steampunk go-kart. you know, that might just have like 2 or 3 different skins. So it's not like anything super complicated, but it would just be a nice little exploration thing. That'd be cool. But yeah, mostly underwater exploration. That's what I want. I wanna go under the water. She says as it rains with no end in sight. I wanna go outside. I mean, I guess I can. It's just... it's wet. It's so wet. How many of you are actually playing Honkai Star Rail? That's one thing I am actually curious about. This is really off topic, and I know there's other questions I really should be getting to, but how many people are playing Honkai Star Rail right now? I wanna know. Can you tell me? Ooh. There is one Zelda theory I want to make, but I don't have any footage. So it's gonna be one of those things where I have to like think about whether or not I actually want to make it or not. I could probably do it. We'll see. Oh, you asked about region aesthetic too. I think aesthetic for Fontaine. I want steampunk, but I also want tons of waterways, waterfalls, water elevators, like water bubbles like we had in the first Golden Apple Archipelago. Like I want really heavy water themes. I want to be able to like do that thing that Child does in his demo where he like jumps on a waterfall and goes woo, 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 woo. I want to do that. That'd be cool. Lore wise, I really want Phantom Thieves. Definitely want Phantom Thieves. I think it'd be... You know the one thing I want for Fontaine that I can't believe I've forgotten until this very moment? A while back, there was this whole big deal about having a new endgame mode for Genshin, right? And people are really upset because of this one interview that Hoyo did. Well, it wasn't really an interview. They requested for comment, and some person in customer service responded for comment. And they said they weren't gonna plan on making anything like the Spiral Abyss again, right? And when I was sitting down to think about what they could do instead that wouldn't really be like the Spiral Abyss, like anxiety-inducing, but still a fun kind of endgame mode, I thought it was really funny because it's kind of what they ended up doing for Simulated Universe and Honkai Star Rail. But I'm just thinking, like, if we're going Europe, France kind of stuff, I think it'd be really great to give us catacombs. Like, what's the name of those catacombs where the walls are, like, entirely made of bones? That's what I want. I want those. I want those catacombs. I want, like, a whole dark underworld kind of thing with zombie enemies. If we can get it, that'd be really cool. And I'd like there to be a new game mode down there, which is like Labyrinth Warriors. That's what I want. That's what I want. Okay, now I'm done. Now I'm done. Now I'm done. I'll stop. Now stop. She says, proceeding to not stop. I have committed so much fungicide. I will make up for it because this week my mushroom spores arrive. Real mushroom spores. I have ordered mushroom spores. I have created a mushroom hut. I have all of my substrate ready to go. This summer I am growing mushrooms. Like a lot of mushrooms. Like for reals. For reals. For reals. I'm very excited. I got pink oysters. So I'm gonna get bright pink mushies. It's gonna be awesome. Awesome, 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 awesome. Oh dear. Oh dear. Why is YouTube such a brat to me? What do you mean live chat has moved? Live chat hasn't moved. Weird thing. Oh my god. Can it stop being a pain for like 1 second. Hang on. Hurry, thank you for the super chat. Be honest, what's the worst war crime you've committed against the Koroks so far? I have ignored them. I did like maybe 4 of the like escorting Koroks to the other Koroks, and then I decided it wasn't worth it, and I just got all the other ones. I've been ignoring them. I haven't done any interesting war crimes to the Koroks. That I feel like that's actually more embarrassing to admit than saying I've what? Yeah, hang on. Hang on. I just want to make sure I haven't missed anything.
My latest design's getting there, but there's still room for
Okay, yeah, I haven't missed anything. We're good. Sorry. I have one more question and then I'm caught up. Cool. YouTube did that thing where it says, you're only allowed to have this many messages in your chat right now. And I was like, no, but what if I miss something? You miss everything. What do you care? Yeah, it's not wrong. Where am I going? Oh, right. Aw, these guys have a little house in the log. Janice, thanks for the super. Aside from Ningguang's fingers, what do you feel is the most innocuous design feature people have latched onto for lore reasons or relationships?
Oh, no, I forgot to bring an umbrella. Sight clear.
Well, I know why people latched onto the fingers. Oh no. Now I have to think. The thing is, I don't pay a huge amount of attention to the shipping community. I'm more of a person if it's a cute picture, then it's cute. Nah. Is this time where we go into the character archive and actually take a look? What do we find? What do we find? What do we find? One of these days, I will find out why Rosaria has claws on every finger. Like, it's cool. But it's very strange. Oh, you know what? I think the one the one that I remember the most has nothing to do with any one ship in particular, but it has to do with Albedo. There's this one like featured or official artwork, I can't remember which one it is, of Albedo where he's kind of like sitting on a couch, you know, looking at his notes, but the person forgot to okay, there we go. The person forgot to color in this little space here between his boots and his shorts. So it was skin colored. And so for like several months, all I was seeing for Albedo artwork was him like in thigh highs. Because they were saying like, oh, look, he's wearing like fishnets kind of stockings, right? It was like the weirdest thing. It has nothing to do with ships or anything like that, but it's like the one design detail that I remember someone getting like really, really, really hung up on. Apart from that, the obvious one is Al-Haytham having both keys. People use that one a lot. I don't know of any others though, because I'm really not that big in the shipping space. I don't know what else people are latching onto for that kind of thing. But Thigh Beto, yeah, that was... I think that one's my favorite. That one's my favorite. Just because it was really funny. No Legs 54, thank you for the super. I just need you to know that I have a coonhound puppy, actual puppy, and when you say yeah, he howls back. Aww. That is cute. I hope he only does that on command though, because coonhounds are known to howl like crazy. And they can be loud. They can be really loud, but that is adorable. Thank you for sharing. I love that mental image. I just found out today that there's like a species of, this is like semi-unrelated. There's a species of mouse that actually kills venomous arthropods like scorpions and stuff. And it howls at the moon to like mark its territory. And its howl is like this high-pitched whine. And it's just the funniest, but also the cutest thing. It's the most metal mouse in the world. I'm also keep forgetting that I can climb it when it's raining in Genshin, because like in Tears of the Kingdom, I can't unless I swap to the froggy armor. It's really throwing me for a loop, like a real loop. You know, there's one thing I really wish Nintendo would learn from Hoyoverse, and that is continuity. Like, Nintendo makes amazing games. They pride themselves in polish and quality and novelty and all these really great things. Their writing's never been great, but like, can they for once just like keep some level of consistency? That's something I would love, honestly. If I could have one thing I would like Nintendo to learn from Hoyoverse, that would be it. If I could have one thing that I would like Hoyoverse to learn from Nintendo, it's quality over quantity. Two very different discussions. Very different discussions. That was the cutest thing, though. AMR Nasser. There was a theory about us being in the hell from the Divine Comedy by Dante. What is my opinion? I am not well read on that. However, I do think there is a lot of merit to the idea that everyone in Genshin is dead except for the Abyss Twin. If only because it makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of little things that suggest that that might be like limbo or purgatory, for lack of a better term. Or at least is referencing it pretty heavily. So I mean, like, I like the idea. I'm just not super well. Can you not freeze me, please? I'm just not super well versed on Dante's Divine Comedy, like, specifically, so I can't comment on that part, and I haven't seen that theory, like that exact theory, so I also can't comment on that. But there's a lot of merit to the idea that everyone in Teyvat is dead, because like it would explain why one of the traveler, or like the Abyss Twin says, "Oh, we've always had enough time." And why Irminsul is so focused on memories, because, like, how do you remember the dead? Well, you remember them. Like, they're not around anymore. They're not physical. Right? So, like, it would make sense that Irminsul is, like, a record at that point. I lost the material that fell off the cliff, and I don't know where it went. Well, I guess it's just gone forever, then. And it would also kind of explain a little bit about what the Abyss Twins' motive could be, because they could be trying to revive their brother so that they could leave, or their sister, or their siblings so that they can leave. You know, a lot of merit. It could work. I think it could work. Have I seen the anime called Magi? I have not, but I have heard of it. David David, thanks for the super chat. I love watching your videos. I still have one unanswered question. What is Genshin actually, and what is it impacting? Literally unsearchable question. Okay. So, Genshin means original god. So, it's literally the impact of the original god. And you could translate impact in a few different ways. But the way that Hoyo seems to be using the term impact is like a cataclysm or a catastrophe or like a disaster kind of thing. Another similar one could be like apocalypse or like a revelation or something similar like that. Those are also pretty common. So if you think about the original god being like the primordial one and stuff like that, then the impact of the original god would be like their arrival on Teyvat and all the stuff that they did and all that kind of stuff. So Honkai impact, for example, is the disaster of the Honkai, like the impact of the Honkai on the world. It like just quite literally. Yeah, that's it. That's the whole thing. I have nothing else to say. I got nothing else. I'm gonna go Beyblade! Yum, yum. Oh, I'm stuck. Yum, 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 yum. The only thing about the Beyblade mode is that it has a little bit too much knockback. So, like, half the time you don't actually hit things. Which is annoying. It's also, like, it kind of bugs me because, like, again, I'm in Tears of the Kingdom mode, and when I play Tears of the Kingdom, I spin to win, right? I spin to win, and I do a lot of damage. But then in Genshin, I can't really spin to win because, like, for some reason, charge attacks do less damage on spinny characters than normal ones, which is just silly. I'm just gonna wander around now because my radar is no longer working. That does not mean I have found all of the fungi. It just means that it's not going to tell me where any more are. It says I have committed enough fungicide today. But no, I haven't. More fungicide is necessary. Alex, why no one except for me sees a huge pothole? Why all the Archons for 500 years didn't give a shit on the state of the safety of Irminsul? I don't think that's a plot hole. I don't think any of them knew. Like, I don't think any of them had a way to know, right? The only one who could know was Nahida, because I think everyone just assumed everything was fine because Ruka Devata had actually done a pretty good job with purging as much forbidden knowledge as she possibly could. But then I don't think any of them realized that she still needed to be purged and that she was kind of a problem still. Because, like, most of the issue with the forbidden knowledge was only in Sumeru. It was localized, right? Like, it wasn't in Liyue. It wasn't in Inazuma. It wasn't in Mondstadt for the most part. I mean, there's still some Abyss stuff, but, like, that's not really the same thing. Like, it kind of is, but it also isn't. Where am I going? I'm going this way. Desert time. So I don't think it's a plot hole. Because remember, she was also kind of, like, locked up. Oh my god, a Sealy! Hi, friend. Can we stay away from the bird? Like, no, I'm gonna lead you right to the scary bird. Okay. We kill the bird with friendship team that I'm still learning how to use. That's not really a good team, it's just... It's just me not really. I know I'm supposed to use her thing when she has... Whoa. That was cool. I was hovering. Oh, she's dead. Okay. Does she have eggs? She has eggs. I want the eggs. Can I have the eggs? Eggs! Whoa. She's a lot of nests. What was I saying? I forgot. I lost my train of thought. That happens a lot. La 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 la. Mine. Yay!
You can forego the lost and found report.
Oh my. How do you guys respond so fast? Casp, thanks for the super. Only Venti and Zhongli are the OG 7 left, so does that mean Murata is also dead since she got mentioned in the manga and that was before Conrian? She actually wasn't mentioned in the manga. What was mentioned was the name of Vanessa's tribe, which was the Muratans, and we've just assumed that that was the name of the Pyro Archon, I think. I don't think it was actually mentioned that that's what the Pyro Archon's name is. A lot of people are saying that that's definitely going to be what the Pyro Archon's name is because there's no way they're not going to name, that they're not going to base the Pyro Archon off of Himeko, which is one of their characters from Honkai Impact and Honkai Star Rail. Because her element is fire and like her whole thing is around fire and she's got like a giant flaming claymore. So I think people are just assuming that she's gonna be, you know, the Pyro Archon. I mean, it's a very reasonable assumption. Super reasonable. So here's the thing about Archons and the OG Archons. There's some kind of weird stuff going on with that, because like Nahida is a clone, right? So A is a twin, Nahida is a clone. Venti is kind of incognito. Zhongli faked his death. So what they do with Focalor is going to tell us a lot about what to expect from both the Saritsa and the Pyro Archon. Because like Focalor, we know that Focalor isn't the original one, right? Because we know that the original one is dead in northern Sumeru in the Vorokasha Oasis, right? We know that much. Wow, there is nothing here. So we know she's dead. The question is, what is Focalor in relation to the original Hydro Archon? And I think that's going to be the real question for Natlan too. Although, because it's called the Ode to Resurrection, it does make you wonder if Natlan's going to be looking to resurrect their Pyro Archon, because maybe they don't have a new one. Who knows? But it originally sounded like only one of them died during the Cataclysm. And now we're finding out that multiple Archons died during the Cataclysm. In fact, most of them died during the Cataclysm. Like 3 of them. So, yeah. Maybe Focalor is just an Oceanid. Maybe she's like an Adepta, an Adeptus kind of thing, right? Like a Fontaine equivalent. Hard to say, but I think Murata might be a similar thing. I don't want to fight Hilichurls. Oh, I don't mind fighting you. You're fine. We can fight this, except this might take a while.
Right here.
Uh-oh. This might take a while. There it is. Oh. Really? Anyway. That was a lot of ramble. I don't think I said anything useful in that whole little ramble. I said nothing useful. Who's surprised? Certainly not me. Do I think there's a reason why Natlan, with an Archon whose ideal is war, isn't fighting any of the other nations? Do you think they're at war with something else? That is so hard to say. Like, on the one hand, you could assume that maybe Natlan is constantly fighting the Abyss, because, like, that's literally the only other thing they could fight, right? But on the other hand, I don't know how much sense that really makes. Because, like, it seems like Natlan is just, like, a completely closed nation at this point. But I don't know. I have no idea. Natlan is literally the hardest region to speculate on because we have next to nothing. We have no NPCs, we have no playable characters, we have no books, we have Travail. And that's it. Like, there's like little weird things we know, like, oh, Natlan has hot springs, or Natlan has this thing about boxing. That's, but like, those aren't really, oh no. That's not what I meant to do. Okay, well. All right then. So much for that. I have no idea. Mista, at the end of the Mondstadt Archon quest, Venti releases an Animo orb-like thing on which Dvalin says the power of the Animo Archon. I feel like it is similar to how Skara got his memories in that Dendro cube. Oh, that's interesting. I haven't heard anyone say that. I have seen a theory that Venti gave Signora a fake Gnosis. And that he actually took the power of his Gnosis and gave it to Dvalin. But the real question is, why wouldn't Venti just hold on to it if that were the case? And I do wonder if, I mean, I guess whether or not you think it's a Gnosis or whether or not you think it's like Skara's memory absorption thing, like it's actually very similar in what the end result would be, because ultimately Venti would give either his memories or someone's memories to Dvalin, which is very interesting because it means that Venti trusts a dragon more than he trusts other gods. Which ties us back to that whole idea that, like, humans and dragons are definitely more related than we think they are on the surface. When are we gonna get Venti's second story quest? I demand Venti's second story quest. So annoyed. The fact that we've gotten 3 Archons and 6 story quests since Venti. Yoimiya has a second story quest before Venti. Like, yes, it's a cute story quest, but like at the same time, I'm still sitting here like, why? What is so groundbreaking about Venti's quest that's gonna, like, you can't have it yet? You know, like, gimme, I want the quest, I'm gonna whine. Never gonna have it. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted. I saw Nahida's second story quest mentioned, and then I went off on a tangent. I'm sorry. I'm lost. I can't see anything. Get me out of here. Janice, thanks for the other super chat. You didn't have to do that. In Nahida's second quest, boss fight, presumably Rukadavada's words are redacted in the subtitles. Could the person in the fire gem have also been erased? I don't think there's a person in the fire gem. As far as I can tell from the dialogue, it seems like the fire gem is just a really, really dense ball of condensed elemental energy that's compatible with a pep. I don't think there's anyone in there. I could be wrong. I could totally be wrong. Can you guys stop going like 20 feet every time I smack you? Wow! I love having no vertical range. The sandstorm is pretty. But this also feels like it would really hurt my eyes to get this close. Let me see the nail! I wanna see the nail. Make the sand go away. How come the pyramid can't stop this sandstorm? It's very aggravating. I just saw a super come in and the only thing I saw on it was hom hom hom. Now I'm like, oh no. Oh dear. But Gasp, thank you for the other super. Weird question, but if we have this set of Gnosis, white set, where's the black set? Also, are you looking forward what are you looking forward to in Fontaine? And then, yeah. Oh, oui, me baguette. I want a baguette sword. I think I've already said a bit. I want underwater exploration. I really want catacombs. I'm looking forward to being able to talk more about Celtic mythology. I think that's gonna be kind of cool. I don't know a whole lot about Frankish myths, so that'll be neat to investigate. It'll be nice, I think, for once, because this might be one of the first regions where I don't have to research an entirely new religion before I can understand a lot of stuff, which is a change. Basically, every region so far has had me researching religions I am not that familiar with. I don't think Fontaine's gonna make me do that. I will say I do think Fontaine seems to have a lot of Industrial Revolution stuff, so I would love to see some commentary on capitalism. I don't know if they'll do it, but I'd like to see it. A croissant catalyst. Yes, it's even the right shape. You could make it like the Wandering Even Star. It could be a croissant with a pat of butter floating in the middle. I want it. If Tignari and Yai for vertical range. Yeah, I mean, that's true. That is true. Kaveh does have some vertical range, it's just not as much as I'd like. I'd like it at least to be as tall as him, but it's not as tall as him. And I get it, because it's like a ground-based thing, but... You know. I understand. It's the nail or a pep? Oh, you mean in the sandstorm? It's the nail. Why so much more desert than rainforest? That's really a waste of my burst, but that's okay. We're in the overworld, it's fine. Yay. Mine. That was sad. What is this time challenge? Why haven't I done it? Is there a reason? Is there a reason I've left this here? Hmm. Hmm. Dun dun. Why so much desert than rainforest? Because at one point, all of this, all of the desert and all of this rainforest was all rainforest. All of it. All of it was forest. And then when the primordial one got into a fight with the dragons, it threw down nails and it basically made all of these forests into a complete wasteland. So it turned everything into desert. So this right here was actually just an oasis within the desert. And for that, it was an incredibly large oasis. And when Ruka Devata was very young, so very early in the Primordial One's era, if we assume that Irminsul is something the Primordial One made, which makes sense, then this area still would have been very full of sand. And she used a song that the Goddess of Flowers taught her to create the Aranara, somewhere around here, right? And then the Aranara helped her create this Varuna contraption down here, this machine that would provide endless water that keeps this entire forest here wet so that things can grow. Because desert sand is actually quite fertile. It's just with no water, it can't really grow much in it. So this is basically the amount of space that the Varuna contraption can power. This is it. The rest can't really do anything, so that's why the rest is desert. Anyway, look at the Pyro Ascension gem. Why? Why do you want me to look at the Pyro Ascension gem? Oh wait, I should go in there a different way. Bup, 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 bup. Wait, where are my gems? Oh, are they over here? They're over here. I don't think I have any. Yeah, I don't have any big ones. Which means I have to go in the thing.
If you press
Wait, no, this one. No, this one. Yes. A pilgrimage for a wish, a battle to earn a name, burnt to cinders for a dream. If the intention yet remains achieved, blank's truth he has. So you wanted me to look at that for what reason? Onion said he wants to collab with me. Well, Onion has my Discord. He can DM me. Please don't delete the live later. I don't delete any of my live streams. On my channel, there is a tab that just says live. And you can always find all of my live streams on that tab. Forever and ever and ever until the internet dies. Or until YouTube says no. Whichever comes first. But no, I don't delete these. Why did I not do that challenge then? That was not a what? Why have I just never done that one because I haven't seen it or what? Okay, well. I've done it now. You mean the Pyro Elemental Gem description? The Pyro Elemental Gem description? What? Wait, what? How is that not the Ascension Gem? I mean, thank you for the super. I'm just very confused. I feel like I missed a conversation somewhere in chat that I don't understand why this is being asked. Jose, why do you think Hoyoverse hasn't fully linked their games after they changed from MiHoYo to Hoyoverse?
one thing after another.
What? Oh, you mean because they changed their name to Hoyoverse, suddenly they're gonna link all of their games together and make them all canonical? No, I don't think that's the point. The point of becoming Hoyoverse was just it's a legal thing. Technically, Genshin and Honkai in China is still made by MiHoYo and not Hoyoverse, because MiHoYo is now a subsidiary of Hoyoverse. But I don't think the change had anything really to do with them wanting to link all of their games together. They can do that regardless.
Keep up.
Look at the tree. It's enormous. I think it's really interesting that gods turn into trees when you think about the Irminsul, you know?
It's so hot. Even a mist flower would melt in this heat.
Ignis, don't you think it's weird how every region has circular-shaped area that takes you under the earth? Liyue has a chasm, Inazuma has Sangonomiya Island, Sumeru has a new desert. Yeah? I mean, we know Conria is underground, right? And that all the abyssal monsters basically came from underground during the cataclysm. So, I mean, all of these things open these portals in the ground, and then, yeah. I don't know why I'm not just warping. I'm just walking in this very empty area. There we go. You guys haven't done these quests. Me walking around in this area is going to be kind of a spoiler. So, I hope you've all done that. Although, to be fair, if you come to any of my streams, you do so under the assumption that you are basically up to date, or that you don't mind spoilers. One of the two, because like we're gonna talk about like the latest information. That's kind of always what happens. So you be prepared. It's very pretty. I really like this area right here. It's just really neat. But you see that little green bastard? I hate him. He's horrible in the abyss. Absolutely horrible. I hate him so much. The crocodile I don't mind so much, but that cat, oh my god, I hate it so much. I hate that stupid cat. Awful. Absolutely awful. Kang, thank you very much for the super chat. Again. I appreciate you. Don't get your videos purged from Irminsul, please. I will do my best. I don't think Google cares enough to purge my videos. Oh, look. It's a firework. Look. We're good. I want to do a thing. Okay, this isn't really actually a fair comparison because this isn't really a caverna, but like, yeah, it's not really a fair comparison at all. Because this is a Farwick and not like a... Is there one nearby? I don't want to go fight the thingy. I don't really need him. If Tutori has to become playable, what element will he wield? I think he'll either be electric, pyro, or cryo, but I think electric makes the most sense. But who knows? Watch him be the Animo boy. Watch us get, like, child Tutori. You gotta admit, that'd be really funny. That'd be super funny, actually. Have I heard about the thing about the Kaya voice lines in Karibear in the archive? Oh, you mean how they updated the text? Yeah. Yeah, I heard about that. It does change some of the implications a bit. If you guys don't know, the Chinese text for Kaya's voice lines in the Karibear quest were a little bit different from the English localizations. And recently, they have updated the audio for the English, but they didn't actually update the text. So the text looks the same in the archive, but if you listen to them, the lines that are played are very different. TLDR, basically, instead of saying that he thinks his parents left him at the winery in order to give him a happier life, he says something more like, my parents probably left me at the winery to keep me alive. Which has slightly more sinister implications. There are like no fungi around here, and I'm just wandering around in circles now, so let's go somewhere else. We're just gonna like... So it's a little bit different. If you're interested, it should be in your quest archives. Like if you go over here and you go to the archive, you go to the travel log. You can pick the quest in question, I think. Right? Wait. Can you do it in... Yeah, you can do it in here. It's just like interlude. I think it's in the interlude. No, it's not. That's the Kabuki model. Oh, wait. Right. Okay. There it is. It's in here. Let's see. Let's see if we can just find it. I can play you the line. Like, there's one line that makes sense. This one. Right here. The rest of them don't matter too much.
But then I began to wonder. Maybe my father left me in the peaceful land of Mondstadt for no other reason than simply to keep me alive.
See?
As well as ensuring that I'd be safely cut off from certain things. The thought that I might be able to actually live a happy life there must have been the icing on the cake. This is obviously all speculation. Simply put, I'm afraid that I'm not particularly in the know on this topic.
Yeah.
These days,
wait, no,
my
stop,
surname,
stop, stop,
Alberich.
stop. I want it to stop playing. Yeah, so anyway, that's the thing. You can find it in the archive. You can listen to it and check it out for yourself. But yeah, they changed the audio. And it's very slight, but it matches the Chinese audio now more than it does the original English. So it's not like they changed what's happened. It's just that they updated the translation to be more accurate to the Chinese. I don't think this is like a localization failure or anything. It's just like sometimes it's a little difficult to understand how important context is without knowing more information. But what this means is that recently the localization team has realized that there is new context that they've received that changes the context of older things. So that means we might be getting more information on Kaya or Conria in the next update or so. Because they usually do this like an update or two out from when they realize that their context changed. So, yeah. Yeah. The Oceanid dialogue changed too? Which one? You like Nahita's gender in the Liyue Archon quest? I think Nahita's gender was actually just never stated. And they just made an assumption that it was a he, because they did the same thing with Rhindaughter. They assumed that Rhindaughter was male originally, but there were never any pronouns used because Chinese just uses gender neutral pronouns or doesn't use pronouns at all, depending. So I think that's more what the issue was. I think they were just like, oh, well, you can actually like use this pronoun here because the gender was never actually stated. And they're just like, oh, okay. Oh, I hate doing these. Does Twiggy make this easier if I like wait 2 shots? Those doesn't matter. I got them.
Why is there a chest here?
Highest story quest incoming. That would be his second story quest because he already has one. If they decide to give him a second story quest, that'll be interesting. Hold on. I don't know why I did that.
Nothing lasts forever. Right here.
Ow. It feels so bad whenever Baiju gets hit. I always feel really bad about it. I was like... The guy is like... What? Where'd he go? What? But... Okay. You, though. You could go away.
Right here. Right now.
That would be fine. Burn Verload! Or not. I hate pyro shields when I have no hydro units. What a pain in my bottom. Yum, yum, yum. Gimme. Treasure! Yeah! Have you guys ever played like the Windows 95 game, Treasure Island? It was like this really weird game where you were like there were two different groups of pirates, like the red pirates and the blue pirates, and you were racing to dig up the treasure, but like also fighting the other pirates. It was like this little pixel-based game. But like you had to decide what kind of characters you were having. Like you could have diggers to, you know, dig up the treasure. You could have swordsmen and like all that kind of stuff. And so there was like some strategy to it. But whenever I think of treasure in the sand and like digging things up like that, all I hear is a little voice line that would play in the game after you dug stuff up, and it would go, "No treasure here." I don't know. It's like a really obscure reference. How many of you have actually ever played a Windows 95 game? How many of you guys have played Chip's Challenge? Oh my god. Aw, torches. I gotta switch characters. I feel like this bow's probably not that great for Twiggy. But it looks so good on him! But his damage is kind of sad. Damage is kind of sad.
Next time, be sure.
Just a little bit. Smack! I slapped the torch. You slap the torch so hard it turns on. Whatcha! Whatcha! Yeah.
Remarkable condition.
Indeed. Okay, back to Twiggy. Did I do Baiju's story quest? I did. The thing I haven't done so far, that's let's see, what haven't I done so far?
I'll lead the way.
I think the only things I haven't done right now are, well, yeah, I gotta finish this. I already read through it. There's nothing in there. It's just, I need to finish these 3 hangouts, and then I'm literally caught up. Yep. Roy, do you think the Sustainer is only part of the Heavenly Principles? It's weird that her introduction is the only time we hear Sustainer. The Archons only say Heavenly Principles. There is another instance of Sustainer in the game. Well, it's actually not in the game. It's in the promotional material for the Travelers. Their character cards have a little poem or a little prophecy on them. And that little poem prophecy thing also mentions this. Oh, wait, no. It is in the game. It is in the game. Hold up. Oh my god, stop. Hang on. Traveler. Wherefore art thou? There he is. chats in here. There it is, this one. This very first thing, the keeper is fading away, the creator is not yet come, but the world shall burn no more, for you shall ascend. Now, in Chinese, the word used for keeper is the same one as the sustainer of heavenly principles. So it's implying that the sustainer of heavenly principles is fading away. Yeah. So that's the other mention of it in game. But like, as far as story goes, yeah, no one's ever mentioned the sustainer. We just call them the unknown god. Which is weird, but the traveler also doesn't really like to talk in absolutes. They do not like to do that. Oh my god, jump. Do I ship Kavethem? I would say yes and no and no and yes. In my head, they're the same person because I see them both as different sides of Deshret, so I find their dynamic really funny. And I think like them being in the same house together is almost like these are the devil and the angel of one person on the shoulder. Like the two sides of your split personality, kind of hashing it out. So like in that way, yeah, sure. But like my perspective on them is very different, I think, from most people. So I don't even know if I can answer that question properly. I think they have a really fun dynamic. So I do really enjoy when people explore their interactions in whatever form it takes. Especially because, okay, so like you have to read a lot of philosophy in order to kind of understand what Hoyoverse is actually trying to do and say. And honestly, you have to look at a lot of philosophy to understand a lot of like some goals of religious practices and stuff. So it's a good thing to read up on. But Plato and Aristotle have two very conflicting views of reality and how reality is structured. And I think it's really funny because at a kind of high level, I would say that Kaveh is very Aristotle. Oh my god. And Alhaitham is very Plato. And I find that so incredibly amusing. I just think it's funny. So yeah, I think my take is just very different on what they are, what they're meant to represent, and how they interact with each other. It's fun. It's fun. Have I seen the diagnosis from Hoyo Fair? Oh, you mean the Jealous song? Because that was the best song ever. And anytime anyone says any line from it, it gets stuck in my head for like 2 days. And I can't escape. It's so good. Ollie, do you think Before Sun and Moon is not objectively correct in how it describes the events that have occurred in history? Yes. Yes. I mean, for one thing, the Scribe of Istaroth can only be so accurate, right? Like, and there's only so much of that book that we can say is correct because it lines up with what Apep knows. And we don't actually know if Apep can have their mind altered by Irminsul. I would say probably not. That would be my guess, which would mean that the dragons have the most reliable memories alongside the Traveler. But the book itself, like there's almost no reason why it couldn't have been altered by the Heavenly Prince, by Irminsul, right? So like, you know how Orobashi went up against the Heavenly Principles and they're just like, hey, yeah, so what the hell is this book? And the Heavenly Principles is like, you weren't supposed to see that? You should die now? And Orobashi's like, no, wait, what? No. Remember that whole thing? Yeah, so I've been actually wondering if the book was altered and Orobashi is actually like a dragon of sorts, because snakes and dragon are kin, which might mean that they're not actually like that he, that he wouldn't be affected by Irminsul. So it might not be that the book itself is containing knowledge that people should not look at. I can't say forbidden knowledge because it's not the same thing as actual forbidden knowledge. It's really aggravating. But it may be that, like, he went and confronted the Heavenly Principles, like, wait, why does this not line up with what I know? And the Heavenly Principles is like, you're gonna die now. It would also explain, like, why they didn't try to delete the book or anything like that, right? So I've been thinking about that. I don't have a whole lot of evidence to support it. I kind of need I need some more information before I could say that's a real possibility, but it's a possibility for right now. God knows. How many fungus have I killed today? In the least efficient way possible, too. Because, like, I don't have a route. I'm just wandering around hoping to find them. Banned knowledge. There you go. This is prohibited. These are on the list of prohibited things. This is our banned book. Heavenly Principles are all about censorship. Which is a very, very interesting thing to think about in today's era. Not just in the context of China, but in like the context of the US too. I'm not sure how bad it is in the EU, but like in the US we're facing a lot of issues with banned books right now. It's not ideal. So it's interesting in that context. Zhongli is the prime adepti and is described as a dragon, but I do wonder if they'd allow a bishop to become an archon. I think that... Okay, so if you assume that Zhongli is a bishop, there's two things to keep in mind. One, he's half of a dragon. His other half is a Qilin, supposedly. Which makes him a hybrid. But if that ends up not really being the case and that whole Qilin thing ends up being pretty coincidental or has some other meaning to it or is only referring to like one specific form or exuvia of his, whatever the case is, then one thing I would like to point out is that Zhongli is the most violent of all of the archons so far. So far, Zhongli has fought and destroyed more dragons than any other god in Tibet. Recorded. Like, there are 4 water dragons that we have records of him fighting, sealing, or killing. So if you think about it, he could have pledged his loyalty to the primordial one and then promised to rout all the dragons, and the primordial one's like, okay, fine, you can join the club. I mean, you got rid of all of your friends, you became your double agent or whatever. Yeah, sure. So like, I could see that. But yeah, he's definitely the most violent. They called him in a dragon in Baiju Story Quest with those funny little statues too. Yeah, they did. I'm glad we finally know like 100% for sure that that's what those statues are for. Because like that was a theory for a really long time, but there was no way to kind of confirm it. Because like they're only those little statues. We're gonna look at them here in a second. See, I just did a Tears of the Kingdom thing where I tried to jump with X and I used my burst instead. So annoying. Okay. Like these, right? The thing is these statues are only in this area of Chingsa. Like, they're only in Chingsa. And the lore goes that the Chi of Yor, or the Ch of lore, I think is the right way to say it. Not 100%. That its body ended up making up this whole area. Like, the scales became the terraces and all that kind of stuff. That's and that's not entirely true. Like, that's the legend. But this was the area where the Ch would have been. And actually, the Ch is behind the waterfall over here. I don't know how many of you have actually done this quest. I would assume most of you have, but probably haven't done it in a while. But it's in here. I don't want to pick up the apples. No! Get off! Let me off! So, like, we have this sealed under here. It's still one of my favorite places in the game. Yeah. Still one of my favorite places in the game. But yeah, so, like, this should be the remains of the Ch. Or something like it. Or the glowing thing in there is, like, the elemental energy of it, or whatever. And this is, like, this stone thing that Zhongli has sealed it in. But, like, he has a really high kill count when it comes to dragons. And there's all these little statues set to guard it. Which implies that this really is his true form and not just a singular Exuvia. But I think that's kind of cool. I love this location. It's so cool. Roy, do you think that the symmetry that exists between the Hydro, Electro, Pyro, and Cryo is only because they are the first in Anemo, Swirl, and Geocrystallize? Those are also used by the Abyss usually. I don't really understand what was written. There's the Ch, there's the Osile, there's but Bai Chao, which seems to be something that Zhongli and Zhao fought together, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm not reading that incorrectly. Or unless that really is just a metaphor and it's not actually referring to Zhao, it's hard to say. And then there's one that's a legend. There's one that's a legend. We have very little on it, but this whole area here, the Lisha region, right here, this whole region was flooded during the Archon War. And the legend goes that there was a dragon king, like a sea king, like a Leviathan kind of king that lived in here and would kidnap women or demanded women for, he stole some girl to make him his wife and that kind of stuff. But yeah, this whole area here was presumably flooded during the Archon War. So there should have been another dragon here. Did Baish not get beaten by Zhongli too? Maybe? She might have gotten beaten, but then retreated. Kind of like how Orobashi went to the into the Dark Sea. She might have just, like, run away. Have I ever wondered why there are no Anemo, Geo, or Dendro abyssal creatures like the mages, heralds, and lectors? I mean, yes, but no. Like, on the one hand, it seems weird at first glance, like they should give us some, but on the other hand, I'm looking at it like, okay, Geo is kind of not that... There's a chest over here. Oh my god. Geo's a really underwhelming element. Like, when was the last time we got a Geo character, right? Like, I don't think they're gonna give us more Geo enemies for a long time. Although I will say there is a Conrian
Extraordinary.
Geo unit. There's that really big tanky shield dude. He's not in the overworld yet, but he was in a couple of abysses. So there is that. But I think that, like, they probably won't release more Geo enemies for a while until they rework how Geo works. And I honestly think they're reworking how Geo works right now. I do, because it's been so long since we've gotten a playable Geo character. So I think they're going to rework Geo Resonance again, and I think they're going to change Geo Reactions. And I think when they make those changes, they will also introduce a new Geo character. That's my thought. But as far as Animo is concerned, Animo is like the most suspicious element. I would say that it's probably the element that is... How do I articulate this? It's both the most abyssal element, but it's also the most heavenly element at the same time. Like, supposedly the god of time is, like, based on wind. So if that's the case, it's like... I don't know. Like, it makes sense because the most suspicious elements are the ones that aren't used often by the Abyss, but at the same time, it's like, well, why are those elements suspicious? So it's like, I don't know, it's half a one. It's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, so says the saying. So goes the saying. That thing. That one. Humans are garbage at talking on the spot. Did you know that? Have you ever noticed? We are garbage at talking. Who's actually articulate 100% of the time? Nobody. That's who. Now, one thing to point out is that Venti basically, when we first met him, said that the wind will protect us wherever we go, and basically every nation we've gone to, the wind has indeed protected us in the form of a young Animo boy. So, I don't know. Oh, there's one other place I want to go before this one. There's one other place we gonna go. Go down here. Do I think the traveler from afar that fell in love with a Seelie princess is a descender? I think it's plausible. It's hard to say that they could be anything else at this point.
I hear everything.
Too far away. Shame.
Come at me.
Oh, I see a question in chat I'm gonna have a hard time answering. No. Don't touch me! I'm too special! I love juggling enemies. But it is a bit jarring going from dominating everything in the overworld with Wanderer to fighting tons of things that have lots of Dendro resistance that aren't really well built.
Come at me.
It's very jarring. Sorry, right. Amber, do you think we'll be seeing a Siegfried-type character in Genshin after soaking in the concept of Fafnir? Previously a dwarf's blood. He became invulnerable except for his back. Yes, but not for that reason. In Honkai Impact, Siegfried is the name of Kiana's dad. So the likelihood of us getting a Siegfried character is actually quite high. For that reason. The question is when, I think. And I think that'll depend. I've seen some speculation saying that it might happen in Fontaine, which I think would be quite interesting. I don't actually have an opinion on the when, though. Hello, my favorite mushroom goddess. Shamaran, I still have a script that's half complete waiting for me to finish it about you. Yes, yes, I do. I have that. Really, really, really need to finish that eventually. Why is my backlog so long? Why am I sitting here just playing games? There's actually there's a reason. There is a reason. It's because I haven't really played for long periods of time for quite a while. I did the whole event in one sitting. Hunter. I did the whole event in one sitting, and that's the longest I've played Genshin in, like, oh, it feels like months. Which could get me, like, on a whole different, completely unrelated topic that I won't go into it right now. But yes, so I'm basically running low on resources because I haven't been, like, slowly collecting them like I usually do. So I have to go soon, but I wanted to talk a little bit about some channel plans. Just based on... Oh, I missed those. That's okay. I kind of want to talk a little bit about some channel plans. Because I need to be a little bit more organized. I need to be a little bit more consistent. Not just because, like, oh, I need to upload more videos, but because, like, I am very tired of having a long backlog. I don't like having a long backlog. Now, I've tried having external help, and that has not... It hasn't helped me much. I'll put it that way. Like, having, for example, like, an editor helps me increase some quality in some ways. It allows me to experiment with some different editing styles and stuff like that and all that. But what I've found is it doesn't actually save me any time to have another editor. Because the reality is what takes me the longest to do is to write their scripts, record them, and to sometimes just fix the audio to make things sound good. And then to collect clips. Right? That should be used in the video. So usually that's kind of the stuff that takes me the longest period of time, and none of that can be outsourced. So the editing part doesn't take as long. So what I've learned is editors don't streamline things for me. So I'm trying to figure out how to streamline my processes a little bit more. I don't know how that's gonna work. But the last couple of months, I've had a really rough time at work, not because my job is going badly, but because I had some project managers at work who completely botched our project timelines. Like, so bad that we almost lost a client over it. So she's literally made my life miserable on her own for about 2 months and completely screwed up all of my planning that I was trying to do. Because I had this really good plan for how I was going to get all the stuff done that I wanted to get done. And this was happening during the launch of Honkai Star Rail, and I wanted to do some Star Rail content too, even though I don't really know, like, the extent to which I'm going to produce Star Rail content. We'll see. Ow. Can I... You guys are rude. Not chat, but like, Hellies. Hellies are being rude right now. Stop shooting me. Yeah, mean. There you go. That's funny. Oh. I miss all of these. All the time. This is like the worst place to get crystal flies. Even though there are lots of them. Because they all scatter. And you can't bring Sayu in here because as soon as you get one crystal fly, all of them scatter. She's actually worse than just not having the passive. Which is funny. What was I saying? Oh. So anyway, this woman screwed up my schedule. So right now, I am trying to complete what looks to be 2 theories for Genshin. I'm gonna be doing 1 theory for Star Rail. Because I think I have a better handle on how Star Rail is approaching its out-of-game content. Oh, hi. What is happening? Rude. Let me start over, because I got really distracted. Let's not move for a minute. All right. I am working on 2 theories. I've got the finale for I've been saying I'm going to do for forever. I've got the finale for the Colony to Vat theory, which if you haven't guessed by the title, you can kind of see where I'm going with it. And then I have 1 theory that I kind of teased in the 3.6 recap and analysis video, which is going to be on dragons and Ermin's soul. So look forward to that. Those 2 will both be coming out during 3.7. I'll be doing 1 theory for Honkai Star Rail. And probably just 1. From my understanding, version 1.1 of Star Rail doesn't have any new story content in it. And because it doesn't have any new story content, like, I'm probably not going to make a whole lot of content for it. I have said that there's 1 Zelda theory I want to do. I don't know if I'll actually do it. We'll see. But don't expect it to become a regular thing. There's just like a couple things I really want to say. But it might just be that I write it and I send it to like Nintendo Black Crisis or Zeltic or something and see if they take mercy on me. and do something with it instead. Might be the better plan. So I'm doing that. I don't want to make any promises. Because I don't like to make promises when it's not like a really sure thing. But I don't know if you guys noticed, but while I was recovering from my 2 months from hell, we hit 150,000 subscribers. And like we're at the point now where I'm so far behind, we're at 151. So I'm on time. I am punctual. But because I was not prepared for that, I didn't have anything. I just said that. I don't have anything prepared for it. So I started thinking about what I would like to do as a celebration for 150,000 subs. And I don't want to do a face reveal, even though that is like the thing everyone asks me for. It's not gonna happen. But what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna upgrade this setup. That may or may not include some avatars on screen. And to clarify, we're not becoming a VTuber. Because I find VTuber models incredibly distracting and way too big, and I find them just kind of off-putting in a lot of ways. So probably not that. But will there be something on screen that's not just the game? Yes, that's probably that's something that I am currently working on. So we'll see how far I get with that and how long that takes. But that's what I'm planning for the 150,000. The question is whether or not that'll make an appearance in the video, because like one thing I've been really struggling with Star Rail is the fact that I can't really make the characters do a whole lot. You don't have a lot of flexibility with what they can do in game, even though they kind of have better models than Genshin. So like I can't sit anywhere, you know? So I'm kind of stuck with characters just kind of... That was so mean. I'm just stuck with characters standing around, which isn't all that interesting. So I don't know if I'm gonna like create a little avatar that'll show up in videos or not yet, but that's what we're doing for 150. That's the plan.
Let me try my...
You know, we need one more fox so that we can have fox emblem. We can have Twiggy, we can have Yai, and we can have Sucrose. And it will be fox emblem.
Cut down like this.
Yeah. Fox emblem. One more fox, that's all we need. Just the one. Come here! I need bugs. Ow! Why do the pigs hate me so much? I like pigs. Why are they so angry at me? Sucrose is a fox? Yeah. Why not face reveal? Because it's my face and I do what I want with it. You know? I don't have to. Anyway, Young QB, thank you for the super. Any theories on Sino and Hermanubis, or is there not really enough to work with? I've actually talked a little bit about it. I talked about him during Vine Laser Fest. Because we got like a little bit of Razor's background and we learned a little bit about his avatar and stuff. So if you're curious about my thoughts on that, I put it in that video. But it's literally like 2 minutes of stuff. Oh my god. It's not that much. There really isn't a whole lot to work on at the moment. We are learning some new things about Hermanubis, but like I haven't dug super deep into that kind of stuff. I keep getting distracted because every time we talk about like gods governing the death in Egyptian mythology, it always brings me back to Destrit and then I get really distracted. I get really distracted every time Destrit comes up. Whoa. That was really zoomed in. That was very zoomed in. One thing I will say, though, is that there seems to be a lot of alchemy ties, so I would not be surprised if, while doing a deep dive into alchemy or anything that has to do with Albedo or Rhine-Daughter, that Hermanubis comes up and we get some Sinnoh lore there. I think if we get anything new, that's where it's gonna come from. I don't think we're gonna get anything new in game for like a long time. Yeah. There's like one more place I want to go and then I'm gonna call it. Perva Undi, are there any signs of Destrit in other regions outside of Sumeru? Yes and no and no and yes. That depends on whether or not, like, how important you think he is. I mean, there's lots of potential Conrian ties, but like, I've had a lot of people contest it, like be like, oh, well, no, that can't be the case, or one of those things where you're seeing what you want to see, that kind of stuff. So like, it's kind of debatable. However, I would say that he's actually almost everywhere. When you start looking. I think the one that really got me, was when I was looking into the Hexen Circle and then reading more about Alice in Wonderland, and then I started reading about the Red King. And then the more I was looking into it, the more I realized, wait a minute, we're in a dream of the Red King as per Alice in the Looking Glass. And then in alchemy, one of the fundamental principles is like the duality, or the merging of opposites, which is almost always represented by a white queen and a red king. So like, there's starting to be this thing, this like repeated theme, right? There's a repeated theme of red kings, like all over the place. So, in my opinion, he's friggin' everywhere. But like, if you go to Mondstadt, does it just outright say, "Oh, Desperate was here"? No, there's none of that. There's just lots of these. That's a weird coincidence kind of thing. And if you know anything about Hoyo, you know they don't really do coincidences. Everything's there for a reason. Yum, 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 yum. Give me all the yummy hand guards. Eat 'em up like candy. Ashley, thanks for the super chat. Alchemy has a crowned dragon Ouroboros motif too. Yeah, it does. 100%. They have a lot of really suspicious symbolism. And a lot of that's because, like, alchemy in general was all about symbolism. No. It won't. Might end you, though. So many hits. You know, one thing that Genshin doesn't have that Star Rail has, and I get why it's in Star Rail and not Genshin, like, you know how you can look at your achievement purveyor of punishment and you can see, like, the highest single damage number you've ever done? Well, like, some characters just aren't built for those high single damage numbers. You get lots of smaller ones. So, like, I can hit 700,000 damage with my Wanderer on his burst if I set him up right. But the thing is that none of those hits are like my highest hit because the burst hits 5 times in like a really short succession. I would have really liked if there was an achievement for like dealing X amount of damage in like 2 seconds or something like that. That'd be really cool. Bree, like the whole thing about the assistant director of the narcissist thing, yeah, the word I can't say right now, I'll practice. The Narcissist Institute throwing excellent tea parties. Yeah, I'm convinced we're gonna get a lot of Hexen Circle lore and Fontaine, and we're gonna get a lot of Alice in Wonderland references, like a lot of them. Katara Gray, thanks for the super. Hear me out. What if Skirk is Diluc's mom? That'd be interesting. Is there anything to support that idea? Or is that just like a fun thought? Victor, what concepts or characters do you want to see revisited in Fontaine throughout 4.0? I've already commented on this, so I'm gonna move on. You can kind of scroll back through the stream if you would like to hear my thoughts on Fontaine.
Emerge. Right here.
Yum. Errol, any kit in mind for the Hydro Traveler, or is healer fine? I don't think they're gonna be a healer. I think they might do lifesteal. Where it's almost like a Xingqiu style heal, but they damage the enemy and then heal themselves a little bit, or like heal the party a very small amount. I think they might actually be more crowd control focused. I think they might create like a Hydro Aura instead. That does something over time. Might be more use likely, but that's just a prediction. I'm dubious of whether the Hydro Archon's actually gonna heal. Because, like, here's the thing. I think the original Hydro Archon would have been a healer. I'm not convinced the current Hydro Archon is a healer just because of everything we know so far about Focalor. Because, like, Focalor basically drove the Oceanids away. She's kind of unhinged. She's kind of focused on this idea of purity, but it seems more like she talks the talk but doesn't walk the walk, you know what I mean? So I wonder.
I'm ready.
I missed. How dare I miss?
I hear everything.
That was rude. I'm called GPK month. Month, who knows, of saving for Focalors. Hey, you don't have that much longer to go. Maybe 2 more patches ish. Maybe. Vlad, there is an achievement for highest damage purveyor punishment. I know, that's what I said. I don't want the single... The purveyor of punishment is only one number. But I would like another achievement that's like the purveyor of punishment, but it's over like a very small period of time so it can accept multiple hits. Right? Like 1 second or 2 seconds. Like deal 500,000 damage in 1 second or something like that. And I get that a lot of people are just like, oh, well, that'll just be the same thing as such and such and such. But like, it's kind of not. I'm sure like any damage that you could do within purveyor of punishment could also be done within the other one, but like, I don't know. I think it'd be neat for AoE characters. Because like if you can do 1,000,000 damage, like say, right? But if you hit 4 characters and you do 1,000,000 damage to each of them, that's actually technically 4,000,000 damage on the overtime one. Right? It's not just one number. It's counting all 4 numbers. Does that make sense? I see Otaku have a slight theory that MiHoYo also looked at the works of Plotinus and the hypostases of the world for world building. Your thoughts? Yeah, I mean, the hypostasis kind of stuff is all in a lot of Gnosticism, too, so I would not be surprised if that were the case. What you? No, get away from me. Yum, 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 yum. Ow. I just want all the yummy treasure.
Who do you think you are?
Ow.
Can't see? Done.
Pop. Pop, pop.
A bigger pill to swallow.
General thoughts on Fontaine characters so far. Charlotte, Liney, Lynette, designs, lore, gameplay. I'm extremely underwhelmed with the designs. As much as I like Charlotte, just because she's so relatable. Okay, so for the record, I'm also of French descent, so like watching Charlotte go like full dad joke and clickbait kind of whatever is, it hits so close to home when she looks that much like Yenfei. That's all I'm gonna say. But like overall, I'm extremely underwhelmed with Fontaine character design so far. Like extremely underwhelmed. And yes, before anyone asks, I have seen the character sheets that are floating around. I will not discuss them. And don't discuss any of those in chat either. The only thing I'm gonna say is I'm extremely underwhelmed. That's it. But like, I could say similar things about Sumeru, but like, when the Sumeru sheet was leaked, I was underwhelmed by most of the cast that I am still underwhelmed by. Which did not end up being the case for like a lot of people. Like I think a lot of people once they met the characters, they were like, oh no, this design's great, like blah, blah, blah. Like Nilu, I know, was one that people were just like, oh my god, what is this? This is horrible, right? And now like people really like Nilu, but that also might be in part because she's really strong. I don't actually know how much is which. Ow. Can you just like, thank you. So we'll see, but like Alhaitham and Tignari's designs were two I really enjoyed, and they're the two I still really enjoy. Kaveh was not part of the ones that got leaked. Laylo also wasn't. Who else? Dory was. I'm still underwhelmed by Dory. She's the one character that the more I learn about her, the more I don't like her. I'm sorry, Emmy, if you're in chat, but it's true. Not gonna lie to myself anymore. That's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother thing, though. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think there's gonna be very few Fontaine characters I'm actually interested in, at least of the ones that are seen so far. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see, we'll see. Yeah, Emmy's gonna fight me. It's okay, it's okay. Emmy knows. Emmy knows. Emmy knows. We're cool. I think. If Charlotte is Cryo Yenfei, I'm gonna wail. I mean, if she's... I feel like I have to get a copy of Charlotte on principle now. Just cuz. But I think it's interesting because, like, she has... her design kind of looks like March 7th stole outfits from Pom Pom's wardrobe, but then her hair is Asta's.
My lucky day.
She literally has the same haircut as Asta. It's really funny.
I'll uproot you.
But then she has the color scheme of Yenfei, and like, she really likes dad jokes. So like, I feel like I have to pull her just on principle. I don't think I'll go for Constellations unless she's on a banner I really like, but
Right now, emerge.
I do feel like I have to get a copy of her just cuz. Mine. They're not dropping anything. This is rude. Any feeling on the recently leaked Sumeru character? I haven't seen anything, so I will make no comment. Tignari says, I'll uproot you, like to remove you by your roots. But approve is kind of funny. Ow. But that's it. That's it. It's
my lucky day.
Right now, right here.
Starrail used AI for design? I haven't heard that one. That's kind of disturbing if that's true, though. I'm not gonna go on to my AI rant. There's a lot more there than I think people are aware of. It's depressing. They used it for lip sync. Okay, see, something like that is fine. Something like that is what AI is actually quite good at and what it should be used for. But okay, yeah, I won't. I gotta go soon. I gotta go walk doggies and do all that kind of stuff. But like, here's a couple of comments on AI. Like, a lot of the AI work that's being spearheaded by stuff like OpenAI and such, right? It has its roots in transhumanism, where it's part of this group of people who want to kind of surpass our human limitations and live in cyber paradises after we colonize the stars. And they have a heavy focus on things like eugenics and stuff. It's not a happy topic in any way. And that's like before you get into like all of the ethical questions about whether or not, you know, replacing artists or voice actors or musicians or like whatever. Like that's even before you get to all of that kind of stuff. Like it has some really questionable roots. But like if you remove both of those things, which are really ethically and morally unsound, you're still left with this horrible marketing strategy where they keep calling these things artificial intelligence when none of them are actually intelligent. And it bothers me because like a lot of times they're saying, oh, we have an AI powered this or an AI powered that. I'm like, no, you friggin' don't. You have an advanced algorithm. It's not the same thing. It's not intelligent. Stop saying it is. This is just a marketing buzzword, like how in the early 2000s, everyone says, look, it's an ebook. Look, it's an e-store. Look, it's e-learning. Look, it's, you know, they just put E in front of everything. It just reminds me of that. And it's just infuriating to me. So like, I have many problems with it. But anyway, it bothers me. Anyway, that's all I got. I'm called GPK. Thanks for the 5 gifted. If you guys got gifted a sub, say thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate you. All right. I think I'm gonna head out today. I really just wanted to get some farming done because I'm really behind. I'm really behind on a lot of stuff. But here's the plan. Summarized. For those of you who are just joining, I'm aiming to get a theory about dragons out this week. Over the next 2 weeks, I will have a Star Rail theory and hopefully the finale to the colony to that thing. That's all I have planned for this patch. Right now, interest in Genshin specifically seems to be at an all-time low. And I think that's okay, and it might actually be quite a good thing. The reason I say that is because 3.7 can be a dead patch. It's wonderful. Everyone takes a break, goes plays Tears of the Kingdom, Honkai Star Rail, whatever they want to. And then 3.8, we should be getting like a preview for 4.0, like Golden Apple Archipelago style. Which I think will you know, start getting us in the mindset and the mood for a new region and new stuff. And then 4.0, we're back in action. Fontaine, here we go. All new kind of stuff, right? So, that said, because I only have 3 videos planned, if you guys remember any theories I said I'd do, but then never did, or if there's a topic that I never seem to cover, please let me know. put them in the comment section of this video and I will check them. I've also been really lax on comments because like most of my videos get like anywhere from 700 to 1,000 comments, and at one point I got so behind that I can't read them all anymore. I do go through them, but not with the same thoroughness as I used to because there's just too many. I just don't have enough time. Trash can lore. I'm not doing trash can. Do you know how many videos there are about trash can lore in Honkai Star Rail? But yeah, go ahead, put your suggestions in the comments, and then I'm gonna take the most popular ones. I'll put them in a poll on my channel page, and you guys can vote on which videos we will be making. But yeah. I'm pretty happy for the chill patch too, yeah. Have I seen the Fatui lore in Honkai Star Rail? It's not really Fatui lore. It's actually, funny story. We will be talking about, that's actually one of the topics of the Star Rail video. It's not Fatui, but it's talking about the thing you're thinking about. So that's fun. Better yet, Venti is trash can. What? Come on, that's rude. All right, guys, I'm gonna head out, but thank y'all for showing up. Thank y'all for showing up. Thanks for being here. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me on this rainy day. It is still raining, but I'm gonna go outside and wander around in the woods for a couple hours in the rain because I can. So, yep. I'm gonna go. Thanks for watching. Bye.